What up, people? With the recent addition of Fire Emblem to the Nintendo Switch Online service, it made me start thinking about what games I wanted to get added to the service, or just ported to the Switch in general. There are so many amazing games from the N64, GameCube, and DS libraries still available that Nintendo fans would love to play again or for the first time ever. Nostalgia plays a big part of why most of these games are on my list, but I'm sure we'll still agree on them. Also, if you're new to the channel, I make videos on single player games with a heavy focus on RPGs, and if you end up enjoying this video, don't forget to hit the like button to help with the algorithm. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get started. While we still have a few kart racers currently available like Mario Kart and Crash Team Racing, I think Diddy Kart Racing still brings something to the table that these other games don't. The most notable thing is how you can either drive a kart, plane, or hovercraft while racing. Not only is this the only kart racer to have this type of variety to my knowledge, but it's also what helped keep the game fresh when I was a kid. I feel that with the capabilities available now with online co-op and multiplayer, Diddy Kart Racing would be a massive hit if it was either ported to the Switch or added to the Nintendo Switch Online service. It might also help with getting more kids interested in the Donkey Kong Diddy Kong brand again. Like I said earlier, a lot of these games are based a lot on nostalgia, but I do think Digimon World 3 still has something to offer to people who haven't played it. While Digimon has unfortunately always been compared to Pokemon, Digimon World 3 seemingly leaned into the comparisons by copying a lot of the gameplay features. The funny thing is, that's probably why I like it so much. You get your starter Digimon pack and you go off to find city leaders, while also dealing with random Digimon encounters as you travel across the world. Now, they would naturally have to polish some things up to port this game to the Switch, such as the time it took to get through a battle, because as I'm watching clips of gameplay, the battle animations of every attack and just the overall length of a fight are very slow. Being a kid, you don't typically mind or notice the type of stuff, but as an adult, yeah, I can't do it. But with all that being said, Digimon World 3 is my and many other fans' favorite Digimon game, and I feel like a $15 to $20 port with some quality of life additions will be a welcome addition to the Switch. Now, this choice might be a little odd. I realize that Smash Bros. Ultimate is the best in the series by far, but I think Melee would also be fun if added to the online service. If I'm being honest, Melee is on this list mostly because of its adventure mode. Of all the first player modes between these Smash games, adventure mode in Melee always stands out for being the most fun. Plus, on the competitive side, I think Super Smash Bros. Melee still has a pretty active fan base, so adding it to the subscription service wouldn't feel like a waste of time. Either way, I know a lot of people hold Super Smash Bros. Melee in high regard, and being able to play it on the Switch would be a dream. Outside of Sonic Generations, Sonic Adventure 2 is probably my favorite Sonic game. I've always liked how the game had essentially 3 different gameplay styles with the heroes and the villains. Running through a course with Sonic and Shadow, controlling a mech with Tails and Eggman, and treasure hunting with Knuckles and Amy were all pretty enjoyable, and cycling through the different characters really helped keep the gameplay fresh. Unlike the majority of the games on this list, if this game comes to the Switch, it would probably benefit from a remaster or even a full-on remake if it was up to me. The reason for that is because even though I love this game, I do remember it being a little janky at times. I'm one of the rare few who prefers 3D Sonic over 2D Sonic, and with the minor resurgence of popularity with Sonic from his movies, now would be a great time to port Adventure 2 over to the Switch. Now, unlike with Sonic games, I think I actually prefer 2D Pokemon games over the recent 3D ones, and Pokemon Silver is easily my favorite out of all of them. Now, even though I loved playing Pokemon Silver when I was a kid, nostalgia isn't purely the reason I put this game on this list. Not only did some of my all-time favorite Pokemon come from Silver, but Gen 2 introduced us to so many gameplay features that the series still uses today. Some of those things being shiny Pokemon, baby Pokemon, day-night cycles, multiple legendaries, and even post-game content. Like some of you might not understand, after you become the champion in Johto, they send you to Kanto to get 8 badges there too. That's a whole other region to go through. It's essentially 2 Pokemon games if you think about it, and then the game ends with you fighting Red on top of Mount Silver like you're the protagonist in an anime or something. While post-game content isn't a big deal nowadays, back then, it was still new for a Pokemon game to have. Listen, I could talk about this game all day, but I'll chill out. Whether it's the original Game Boy game or the Heart Gold, Soul Silver remakes, more people getting to play through what I feel is the best generation of Pokemon is something Nintendo really needs to do. Next up is a game you might not be expecting, and that's Sleeping Dogs. I remember I bought this game for like $5 on a whim, and it's crazy how much fun I got for that little amount of money. I've never been a huge fan of games like GTA and Saints Row, but something about Sleeping Dogs really clicked with me. Unlike with those other games, I really enjoyed Sleeping Dogs' main story, and the characters are really likable, and that made me want to keep playing to see where the story would go. The gameplay was also really enjoyable. The fact that you play as an undercover cop was really cool because you got to do missions not only as a criminal, but also as a cop as well. Seeing how the Switch already has ports of GTA and Saints Row, you might as well get Sleeping Dogs on there too. I honestly don't remember much about Kirby Air Ride outside of what I played the most, which was a mode called Free Run. Free Run was when you and your friends could roam around the map with infinite time, and you also had access to all the machines available in the game. All me and my cousin did when playing was just fight each other by trying to run each other over with the vehicles. We never even thought about playing any other mode because of how much fun Free Run was. I think the same enjoyment could be had by others and their friends if they port this game to the Switch or Nintendo Switch Online service. Also, the more Kirby games for people to play, the better. Since a lot of people recently got access to Fire Emblem 7, it made me think about what other Fire Emblem games I would like to see to come to the Switch. And with Ike being my favorite Smash Bros character, Path of Radiance / Radiant Dawn seems like the most obvious choice. I own all the other Fire Emblem games on the DS and Switch, so being able to play the GameCube entries would be great for me and others who missed out on them. I also think it's cool that a Fire Emblem game got a direct sequel, and I'm sure fans of Path of Radiance appreciate it as well. As far as reception for the games, both have seen genuinely positive reviews from fans and have been praised for their story and gameplay. However, graphics were constantly being criticized in regards to both games, and Radiant Dawn specifically saw a lot of criticism about the game being too difficult and possibly being a deterrent for newcomers. Be that as it may, Fire Emblem right now is arguably as popular as it ever been thanks to 3 houses and Engage, so making more games from the franchise accessible to fans seems like the smart thing to do. And last on the list, we have the game that we've all been waiting to get ported, and that's The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Every single time a Nintendo Direct is announced, I always think to myself, they're going to announce Wind Waker this time and we can all move on with our lives. And yet, it still hasn't happened. And I think it's the fact that we know it's most likely coming that makes the lack of an announcement more annoying. I've held off playing this game so many times because I wanted my first time playing it to be on the Switch. Other than the remake to Link's Awakening, Wind Waker probably has my favorite art design of any Zelda game. With us getting a port of Skyward Sword and plenty of classic Zelda games being on the subscription service, Wind Waker seems like the obvious next addition to the Switch library, and I hope that addition comes very soon. Okay, that's all the games I want to talk about today. What games do you want to see ported to the Nintendo Switch? Let me know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with the channel. Later.